and gentlemen, we are the Millie Goats. We are back. I'm AK, your co-host for another Monday Night Football post-game show. Look, like I said, we love doing these. We're doing more than we've ever done, and we appreciate everybody that's listening. Everybody that is listening, you're the reason why we're doing it, because the numbers have been very good, and we appreciate that. We're here to talk football. We've got the notebook. You can see, very thick, leather-bound notebook. Shout out to my mom, who bought this for me, that I take notes with during the games. So 2 Monday Night Football games. One started at 7:15. The other started at 8 o'clock. We had the Jets and the Dolphins, AFC East battle, and then the Broncos and the Bengals, which I'm sure they thought was supposed to be incredible, but Joe Burrow got hurt. So then they were kind of like, well, this stinks, but there's nothing we can do about it. So we had the first game featured the rivalry series. I guess the AFC East and the NFC West are doing the rivalry jerseys or whatever. Miami Dolphins 27-21. Really never any doubt, I would say. First off, we got to talk. I always write down this. Stuff. We're going to spend about 10 minutes on each game, 20, 25 minutes. Boom, out of here. If you are listening to the show, we appreciate that. Hit the subscribe to the show, leave a review, leave a rating. We're climbing slowly, which is kind of cool. So we appreciate that. But we're going to do what we always do. We're going to go over the things that I wrote down in my notebook. And then we're going to go over some of the box score, kind of look at the numbers, kind of clean up, the stats and that sort of thing. So thanks for tuning in on Monday night, or if you listen to the podcast, a Tuesday morning. Okay, so what do we learn about the Jets versus the Miami Dolphins? The Dolphins were favored by 2.5 in this game. The over-under was set at 43.5, so that hit. Dolphins win by more than 2.5. Kind of a slow starting game. You had the Dolphins go down and get a field goal. Riley Patterson. They kind of stalled out. Then you had the Jets. The Jets, you had the Dolphins touchdown. They had a 15-play, 96-yard, 9-minute drive, and Darren Waller is back in the end zone after a brief retirement. He had a nice welcome back party. So on Twitter, you saw the videos of his rap music being played again. But I think it was what happened was from the second quarter, the Jets went on like a holy moly. I don't even remember how many plays it was, but they basically ran the ball like 15 times in a row, straight down the throats of the Dolphins. And before the Dolphins went on their long touchdown, Braylon Allen fumbled the football going into the end zone. He reached across, it got punched out. Then they let him return the kick, and then he hurt his knee on the next kickoff. So after the Dolphins went down and scored, Coach Glenn's like, you know what? Get back out there, dude. We believe in you. And then he hurt his knee. So we had that going on. But here's a couple of things. That's how the game started. Then we had the Jets kick a field goal as time expired at the second. Third quarter, we get another Darren Waller touchdown. Sweet little crossing play, rollout boot. That's what the Dolphins love to do. They do more boots and fancy little handoffs than anybody in the league. Then we had in the third quarter, Justin Fields 43-yard touchdown run. It was a pretty sick run, but the Jets are kind of a one trick. I don't know what to make of Justin Fields. We'll talk about him in a second. But he had a sweet touchdown where he faked. They were about midfield. It was a 43-yard touchdown run. They do a kind of a stretch zone handoff, and then they were looking to hit some sort of flood concept on the right side of the field. Well, he does a little spinorama, dip in, and then reverse field and ran up the left sideline and ran all the way in for the touchdown. So then it's 17-10. And then still in the third quarter, Devon Achane, he gets himself a 9-yard rushing touchdown. Another decent drive by the Dolphins, 7 plays, 68 yards. Then in the fourth quarter, the Jets get themselves a field goal. Dolphins answer with a field goal. Then we get a sweet pass, a sweet catch from Garrett Wilson. He should have had 2 touchdowns. And 21-27. That's how the game ends. Onside kick recovered by the Dolphins. We got to talk about. So that's kind of how things went. Dolphins win 27-21. The thing is, Aaron Glenn, coach of the Jets. This is a crazy stat. He's on a 4-game losing streak to start his tenure as the head coach of the Jets. That is as bad as when Adam Gase took over, I think, in 2019, and when Lou Holtz did, I think, in 1976 or something. So Aaron Glenn, not in great shape. They thought they were going to beat the Bucs last week, lose a heartbreaker. Thought they might win this week against the Dolphins, lose that. Jets are 0-4. The Dolphins 1-3. I don't know what to do with the Dolphins. They have a lot of playmakers, but you can run the football right down their throats. The Jets did that. Like, if we look at the box of the team stats, the Jets ran the ball very effectively. They ran for almost 200 yards. But that's what the Jets do. Like, you could tell in this game early on, the Jets were like, they can win one way and one way alone. It's like what's that? Blades of Glory. We're gonna dance to one song and one song alone. Humps, My Humps by by Black Eyed Peas, Fergie. That's what the Jets are. It's like, we're going to win this game because we're the big bad bullies on the block. We can run it down your throat. Braylon Allen, Breece Hall, coming at you. Justin Fields, downhill, run it. Didn't they do that against the? Was it the Steelers? Yeah, it was the Steelers. It was like, wow, the Jets are going to run. They're going to play bully ball. The problem with that is they fumbled, and then they got down by multiple scores, and then big bad bully on the block running the football is not as effective. Then you have to throw the football, and that's where Justin Fields comes in, and it's kind of like, yeah, Tony Romo, Jimmy, away. So, but anyways, they had a nice long drive, but there's the way that they want to win or can win games is very fragile. If they get out and they can get us multi-score lead, they've got a shot. If they get down multiple scores, they do not have a shot. And you can tell me all this about Justin Fields this, Justin Fields that, blah, blah, blah. The concepts for the passing are quick, and Orlovsky during the broadcast was like, that's the Justin Fields, when he gets back there and sees this man coverage and then he just pulls it down and runs. It's like, yeah, that's great until you get down and they'll just let you run the football. So, but anyways, you could see early on that they were trying to figure out. I think was it the Dolphins? They were trying to figure out the defensive coordinator was trying to figure out, does he want to run zone or man? Oh, so, but anyways, so you look at the by all accounts, like the Jets, they had more total yards. They had 404 to the Dolphins 300. Third down, they were 4-9. The Dolphins were 4-12. The Jets had more first downs. 23-19. They had about the same amount of total plays. Total drives were about even. Yards per play, the Jets had 7.1 per play. They had more passing yards. The Jets threw for 207. The Dolphins 177. Rushing yards, we already talked about that. Red zone attempts, the Jets were 0 for 2. Again, we've seen that kill the Niners. You cannot go 0 for 2 if you want to win, if you want to upset. The red zone attempts for the Dolphins, they were 3 for 4, so they cashed in. Now, here's where it comes. Look, if you're Aaron Glenn and you're a coach, you're first-time head coach, these are the things that are going to drive you nuts in the film room, in the meetings. The Jets had 13 penalties for 101 yards. The Dolphins had 6 penalties for 40 yards. And there was some discrepancy on, did they deserve those calls or did they call the game fairly? So, there was a couple of plays you were like, oh, that could have been a flag. Like there was a tight end late that got hit after he was laying on the ground. Like, oh, it should have been a flag, this and that. And the fumbles, the Jets turned it over on back-to-back drives to open the game. They turned it over on that long drive we talked about. And then Justin Fields fumbled on the very next drive whenever they were down 10-0. He was rolling out right, ball got slapped out, and the Dolphins picked it up. Then they fumbled on a kickoff return not too long after that. So that's how the game was lost. If you're the Jets, your margin of error is very, very small because you can only win really one way, and that's just running the football down people's throats. So we covered that. Now, the other thing that I took to this is Mike McDaniel has got he's got a problem. Mike McDaniel has got a problem. He is way too worried about his eyewear attire. He last week, or was it last week or the week before? We were talking about him saying, "Hey, this guy, he was wearing the frameless eyeglasses. Excuse me, wearing the frameless eyeglasses. This week, he shows up at the home game with the gold brimmed, thick up top, thin on the sides, thick earpieces, glasses. And then after the game, he had on the black rim, Tom Cruise from Tropic Thunder glasses, with they look like the aviator eyeglasses. So this guy, and then he's got he's got a problem. Mike McDaniel's got an eyeglasses problem. Now, I don't know if he's one of these guys that actually needs him. I mean, I'm wearing mine because I need my glasses. If I don't wear my glasses, I can't see. I don't wear them as a fashion statement. I wish I didn't have to wear them. So, Mike McDaniel, that was a big takeaway. Second takeaway I wrote down in my book here, the black jerseys. Well, the crowd initially for the Dolphins was not great. It didn't look like it picked up to get any better either. They have a problem getting people to football games in Miami for the Hurricanes and for the Dolphins. I don't know why, but I guess there's just a lot to do there. But Tua looked comfortable. He made some good throws. And obviously, there was in the black jerseys. I kind of dig the black jerseys. People were saying they didn't like them. I kind of think they look cool. They're very Miami, very Vice. Oh, yeah, Nate's here. Nate Dogg. I was just getting ready to talk about that, Nate Dogg. And then the final takeaway I wrote down from this game, the Tyreek Hill injury was bad. You could see people like on the slow motion replay. You could see people on the sideline like doing the O face and covering their mouth like, oh my gosh, what did I just look at? And you could see it whenever he rolled over initially that his leg was going the wrong way. It turns out he ended up having a dislocated knee, which is a problem because that puts the artery, the popliteal artery, and the fibular nerve, the tibial nerve, in jeopardy. So they have to take him to the hospital to make sure that, because his knee was dislocated, obviously there's going to be PCL and maybe even LCL just by the way it looked. It's severely dislocated, which means the vascular and the nervous tissue is going to be at risk. So they'll take him to the hospital. They'll do an angiogram to see about blood flow, and they'll make sure he doesn't get any clots or that the popliteal artery is not ruptured, because that could lead to clotting and bleeding out and all this just bad stuff. So, yeah, Nate, he says it makes no sense that he was I don't know. You don't – it's tough, man. Yeah, I mean, he was smiling for sure, but I think it was just in shock. Like, I've had a major knee injury like that, like not that significant, but I had an LCL, ACL injury. And, like, it didn't hurt. It was just a shock to the system. So, yeah, you heard it, and then I blacked out, and then it was like, whoa. The realization of what had just happened kind of made me overwhelmed with emotion. But he was smiling because it probably didn't hurt. But the real concern is monitoring him after and make sure there's no vascular damage. So, Dolphins win 27-21. What a meaningless Monday Night Football game. Sorry if you're a fan of these two teams. But anyways, all right, moving on so I can go to bed. Broncos, Bengals. The Bengals, whew. I don't know what you take away from this fan if you're a Broncos fan, right? Like, I don't you feel good about the win, obviously, but holy moly, the Bengals stink. Broncos 28, Bengals 3. Bengals had a nice little drive to open the game. They went right down the field, got a field goal. You're like, hey-oh, here we go. Broncos were favored by 7.5. Over-under was 44.5, so the under hit. And really, the story of this game was the Broncos defense and Bo Nix kind of having a coming out party, but it's against the Bengals defense. So, let's see what I wrote down about this one. Denver had a 100-yard rusher. That's the first time they've had a 100-yard rusher. I can't remember when, but it's been a while, and J.K. Dobbins did it. So, and of course, they take J.K. Dobbins out of the game and throw the ball to Harvey for the touchdown, of course. Cincinnati's OL stinks. I gotta give credit to Bo Nix because the drive before the half, Bo Nix was absolutely ripping fastballs. One to Franklin up the left sideline, and then the touchdown to Sutton. Look, that arm strength that Bo Nix showed, pretty impressive, I have to admit. They were wearing their all blues. I don't like when the Bengals wear the orange helmet and the orange pants. That's just me. I don't like that look. I think they have to wear the black pants if they're going to do that. The white, the orange pants, orange helmet just doesn't work for me. Cortland Sutton had a big game, 5 receptions, and 81 yards and a touchdown. The Broncos defense was just all over Jake Browning. Like everybody's like, "Oh, Jake Browning can't do." I mean, look at this. Look at this, folks. The Denver Broncos had 512 total yards, and the Bengals had 159 yards. They got outgained by 400 yards. That's not even playing the same game, folks. So, like I said, they had Bengals had a 12-play, 62-yard drive. They got 3-0, and then Bo Nix had the rushing touchdown. Looked good. Marvin Mims had a rushing touchdown that puts them up 14-3 in the second quarter. Then Sutton had that's the one I was talking about where Bo Nix was just ripping that ball right up the seam. The look route where kind of a corner post route, and he just ripped it in there between the safety and the nickel corner. Cortland Sutton's having a good year. Good for him. That was 21-3, and then it was pretty much nothing for the entire third quarter. Playing ping pong ball, just back and forth, and then finally with 5 minutes to go, the Broncos made it 28-3 with the R.J. Harvey thing I was talking about. So some of these are freaking hilarious, the stats. But oh yeah, Bo Nix did get picked off. There's Benito just absolutely ripping it. Two big sacks, third and fourth quarter by the Broncos. But let's look at some of these stats, the team stats. This game stunk. Like both of these games, like they had no intrigue. I mean, this was like a Broncos, the Broncos had to win this game. The Bengals look like they're floundering. Jamar Chase had 23 yards. Jamar Chase was yelling at Zach Taylor, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, what's gonna?" The whole AJ Brown. What's he mean? Like, dude, they're dudes that are involved in a football game. Emotions get high. A lot of testosterone on the sidelines. So the Broncos had 29 first downs to the Bengals 9. They got out first down by 20. Third down efficiency, the Bengals were 2 of 11. The Broncos were 8 of 14. We talked about the Broncos had 80 total plays. The Bengals had 43. Goodness gracious. Same amount of drives, 10 and 10. Passing yards, 326 for Bo Nix, 106 for Browning. It says 125, but Bengals gave up 3 sacks. Rushing yards, the Bengals had 53. The Broncos had 186. Bengals were 0 for 1 in the red zone. Broncos were 3 for 4. Penalties were about even. We had the 1 interception by Bo Nix. That was it. So, possession, the Broncos had 37 minutes, 58 seconds. Bengals had 22:02. So, complete, just no intrigue, no drama to this game. It was a game the Broncos had to look good in. They should have looked good in. They did look good in. And so it puts them at 2-2, tied with the Chiefs, 1 behind the Chargers. So in the AFC West. Oh. And then the Bengals are 2-2, and they're still somehow the Bengals are all the way up into second place in the AFC North, 1 game behind the Steelers, which is freaking hilarious. They're ahead of the Ravens and ahead of the Browns, and they look awful. So, I don't really know what else to make of this game, but I will say I was impressed with Bo Nix with a couple of those throws he made. So, again, it is a Bengals. Their defense stinks. So, anyways, if you're a Broncos fan, you're happy because you're only one back. So, I can't remember who the Broncos play next. They play the Eagles in Philly this Sunday. Yikes. Then they get goodness gracious, they get the Jets and then the Giants and the Cowboys. So if the Broncos can beat the Eagles somehow, they could actually probably win 4 games. But we've seen them play down to their competition. So, but anywho, that's it. That's all I got. Like I said, we got stuff to do tomorrow. But pull this out of the way. Well, I love doing these recaps. We'll be back, let's see, Wednesday night for I hit the wrong button. For the preview show, the Thursday Night Football preview show. My 49ers will be taking on the Rams, and we've got a lot to say about that game. Come in, get in the live stream, chat. You can make fun of me if the 49ers lose. They did lose, so go ahead and have your hacks. So we'll be back Wednesday night, and then we'll do a Thursday night show too, Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So tomorrow night we're off. No show tomorrow night or podcast Wednesday morning. But check out this podcast and then go back and listen to our recap of college football and NFL Week 4, college football Week 5. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Let's talk some ball. Have a few days to rest up, ladies and gentlemen, because we got another Maction's coming. I think next week Maction starts. We're going to start getting games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Fun Belt and Maction. So get your rest while you can. October's just around the corner. Everybody have a great Tuesday.